All right. Hello and welcome. What's going on? My name is Rich Ryan, bringing you another map review brought to you by TORC. And on this map review, I have my friend Alicia Keuker on here. We're going to go over the San Luis Obispo Super and Beast distance for all of those who are racing this upcoming weekend. But before we get to that, I just want to give a couple shouts to some Patreon members. Shout out to Jessica Dorsey, Micah Dorfner, Kenny West, and Ashley Reese. And if you want to get early access to these map reviews and some exclusive interviews and some discounts on some training plans, make sure to check out the link in the comments below, and you could also donate to our Patreon and the athletes of TORC. All right, now that's done. Let's bring on Alicia.
Hello.
What's up? How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Feeling ready to rock this this course. First stop of the Elite U.S. National Series, second stop of the age group National Series. So I think it's Elite North American Series, I believe, right?
Is that what we're calling it? Yeah.
I think that's how it goes. So you are are you familiar with this type of terrain? Like, you're living in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Do you anticipate slow in terms of the topography and like the footing and the elevation to be pretty similar to what you're typically running on?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I actually haven't been down on the trails nearby, but I assume, the California trails are going to be like wide. They're going to be like some sort of like harder dirt. I don't think it's going to be too technical, and it doesn't appear to be that it's going to be too steep. So I feel like I hope to feel right at home with this one.
It seems, just from the first look at this map without seeing it in person, it seems like it's going to be a runner's course. It seems like this is going to be very runner friendly, especially the super, where there's not a ton of elevation gain, and maybe until like the last, what is that, even like mile or so? This seems like a one big climb.
Like right there, probably like 5.5 miles. There's, somewhat steep, but everything before that, yeah, it's like a track race.
So what's your first reaction when thinking about how this race is going to go out? Like, what do you think you're going to have to do in the first, mile or two? Because it looks like it's just going to be pretty flat. It looks like it's a downhill start and then some gradual uphill and then another pretty sharp downhill with just over walls and inverted walls in that first mile. So what do you think about an approach for that?
Yeah, I think it's going to be just hanging on. Like you definitely want to be in a good position by the time like pretty much directly halfway through the course. So when you're looking at obstacle number 15, like once helix hits, you want to be there. You want to be like, there's probably not much more catching up to do. So I just feel like going out with and just trying to stick with people that, maybe like I didn't try to stick with last year. I'm just gonna try to hang on, and we've got some nice downhills, and I feel like the train is gonna be like rolling. Like I feel like it's gonna be a nice downhill. Something runnable, hopefully. But yeah, just hang on and then get in a good groove for that flat section. And then I love the way the obstacles are set up. I think like I said, once you hit helix, there's some good stuff back to back, and they're relatively close. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I like what you said about like that first 5K, right? Like by the time you get to what the super loop would be, where it comes from, what is that? The 7-foot wall, 6 foot, 7-foot wall, and then cuts across to get to pipe layer, or I guess helix. That is, I'm not sure. The map key says pipe layer is just on the beast course,
right?
But it looks like it's right where the super comes back on. So I would expect pipe layer to be something that the super course would also do. Not that that matter, it means anything for the race, but it might just be there. So yeah, you might just need to be uncomfortable, right? It's kind of getting out, running a little bit faster than what you probably want to run, just to keep yourself in the race, because it's only
I'm thinking like an hour. It's gonna be fast.
I think so too. I think yeah. So in the first 3 miles is probably going to be like 22 minutes or something like that, because it looks like it's only a couple of obstacles in the way. One, two,
Yep.
like 6 obstacles before in 3 miles.
Yeah.
I think it was only 19 total, so it's not a ton there. So the first 3 miles, it's pretty straightforward.
Mm,
Just go.
yep.
Just gonna kind of have to
And then
go.
those nice downhills, which those are gonna get people moving for sure.
And like you said, where it's not a downhill that would be like Utah or a Big Bear or even like a New Jersey, where
Hmm.
the technical experience is going to help the trail runners. I don't think it's going to be like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm picturing like dirt. I mean, maybe like a little gravel type trails, and I'm picturing, yeah, I think it's going to be definitely like runnable. You can get some speed off. There's obviously no obstacles going down those hills, and those are going to be some fast miles. So that's going to be fun to start off, I think.
Now, would you keep in mind that, okay, there's going to be some obstacles coming, because after it's Helix, then and we got some new sponsors. It looks like we got what is 15? It's, well, Helix, and the Z Wall is.
I don't.
Do you think they're
So
pronouncing that Action Water or
I think
Ac
it's action
Ion?
because if you go to the very bottom where like the Fit Aid, the bigger
Yeah,
like logos of the sponsors, I think it's action. I don't know what it is, but
there's going to have to be some sort of ionized situation in this water that I'm sure they're going to sell it to you, why it's better than just
yeah.
non-ion. So the Ac Ion water,
Hmm.
Z Wall, and then so I mean, and then you get a little bit of a gauntlet there where it's
Yeah.
Olympus, box, and spear throw, which are all
That
penalty loops.
Yeah, that's gonna shake things up for sure. No matter what, just having the Olympus there, given that it's the same that it's been the last year,
Hmm.
and the spear throw, and just have like they're back to back. So well, with the box in there too, those are all three failable obstacles. I mean, I would say on the female side for sure.
Hmm.
And hopefully, I mean, did we find out why we're doing these penalty loops or
I
what?
think
I mean,
I don't. I mean, I don't mind the penalty loop just because it's a way
yeah,
to reduce the penalties on the penalties, right? And people getting burpee, like you get penalties on your burpees when you're already being penalized. It's silly, and it's
yeah,
almost subjective, right? It's like, yes, there's a standard way to do a burpee, but like it- it's a
that's
judgment
true.
call sometimes. So
I get what you're saying there. Yeah, that's a little more like way to make it fair, I guess.
what do you like?
Um
Do you like a loop or a burpee?
I mean, I don't like to do burpees, but I don't like to fail obstacles. So for me, it plays in my favor when other people have to do burpees.
Because
I
it's
didn't do a
slower.
whole lot last year. So for it to get shortened by a penalty loop, I mean, it makes it a little more of a runner's course, and that's fine. But yeah, I would say on the other hand, going into the spear throw knowing that it's a penalty loop versus burpees, it does put a little less pressure on. So, yeah, I guess it's fine.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, right? Where Olympus we'll take Olympus for Asheville last year, where a
Hmm.
lot of people failed, but the penalty loop, it was almost inconsequential. And what was it, Stairway to
Yeah.
Sparta at West Virginia, where it took about the same amount of time to do the loop as it did to do the obstacle. It's like
Yeah.
we're
If they were like fair timed, and of course if it's going to benefit you, we want the penalty loops
right.
or
If you're a runner,
versus burpees,
right.
right? So, I mean, it's fine. I just think I'm looking at this map and I'm looking at like the game changers, which are Olympus and spear throw, and they're both penalty loops. So, I mean, maybe that's where we're going
Mhm.
with Spartan, and that's fine. Um,
What's your
but
Go
yeah,
ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was just gonna say like if the worst thing is like getting halfway through Olympus, falling off it, and then having to like run again. So it just plays more of the I could touch and go.
That's a good point. That is a good point. Yeah, if it's not going to be as big of a deal, like they should have it standardized, right? It shouldn't be, because they try to make these like loops in the woods are even harder. They should just map, like have a yellow streamer that
Mhm.
is a quarter mile the opposite direction down the course, and you just have to like turn and run the other way, and then
Yeah.
you get there and turn back around. Because that's the other thing with penalty loops. Sometimes with the burpee pits, you see like if someone was ahead of you, they missed, they're in the burpee pit. You're like, oh wow, I could move myself up. But if they're like
Yeah.
out in the woods, like
You have no
you don't even
idea.
know what place you're in. Yeah.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
think they have some work to do on that. Well, I guess we'll see how they roll it out for this national series race, because this is going to be the first time for elites where you're going to see penalty loops that you know about ahead of time.
Right. Exactly. And yeah, it's fine. You know, like I'll just do what I'm told. We tell them. So it's fine.
How's your Olympus technique? Tell me, what do you do to get through that thing?
Oh my goodness. It's changed for sure. I use the holes. I used to use the chains because I was like really fast at it. But I'll just go hole by hole basically, and
Are you
I don't
crossing
cross
over
over.
or no crossover? Okay.
No, I just like wide reach and then move my left hand as I move my feet. Now, I mean, last year there were definitely, I would say almost every Olympus was like across my knees, and my feet were not a factor. Like they were not like, you know, I couldn't put my feet on the wall. So it's become now, if it's really like slippery or like if it's like dewy out, I think it actually helps to put your body on the wall and then just slide.
Interesting.
So if it's dewy,
which
that
like,
actually kind of helps.
We can for this race too, because it's a little bit later in the day, I believe. I think men start at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
And just based off of the geographical location, it's probably not going to be dewy, right? It's probably going to be pretty dry out there.
Yeah, so I'm hoping, to like just land my feet on it again. I miss that, going back to like the easy way, I guess. But there won't be balls on it, will there? Oh no, there probably will.
I don't know what the designation is when they have the because that's nice, right? If you can get the leverage on the chain and there's a ball there and your feet can get up, then you're in a good spot. I like that. Yeah. Did you do Tahoe last year?
Yes.
How did you do Olympus there?
Remind me where it was in the race.
It was on the it was like the second to last obstacle or something like that. It was on the parking lot before you headed into the festival area.
Just muscled my way through it, and it took everything out of me.
Were you on your knees?
Yeah, no. I actually, I want to say I wasn't, because it was dry.
Right.
I want to say I just tried to get my feet up as high as I could, and like sometimes I'll lean, like I'll have my feet on the wall and I'll lean like that, the leading knee up, and so I'll kind of be on my leg for one, and you just kind of like slide with that side and then have a grip on the back foot. But yeah, that was a rough one. I think I was like seeing stars after that for sure.
It was at the bottom at the end of a very long race.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I think that would be ideal, right? If you could get traction on the bottom of your shoe on your trailing leg, like on your toe, and then like what you just mentioned, like your knee on the front, just because the knees just sucks. It just hurts.
Yeah, it hurts. And yeah, I think you're right. It's gonna be dry. So actually, yeah, it might not be too bad. We'll go with that.
It's gonna be weird though. Like I would think I would go into it trying, like being optimistic that I could go shoes.
Yep.
But we won't be able to see it before the race, because it's kind of it looks tucked way back into the woods. So, but just have a backup plan of going knees. But
there will be a lot of people running the day before, and I'm sure we all know somebody that's doing the beast, so we could get some insight on the day before and how that penalty loop is, because if it's I think that's a strategy thing. If you know the penalty loop is like, I hate to say that, because this is like, I love completing obstacles and it's like prideful, like to me, but it's a strategy thing. And if it's a short loop and we get that message from people that run the day before, have that in mind when you go in. Like if you touch it and your feet slip right off, just take the penalty loop.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, doing your research the day before, I hit it, like talking to some of the age groupers or any of the elite athletes who will do the super or beast, if you know them. See what they can tell you on that. So that little gauntlet there with all penalty loops, and you drop down into mile 4, and they got 3 more obstacles that are right in the way, which are going to be Atlas, Titan Fitness, multi-rig, and bucket carry. Multi-rig will expect to see a pipe and then rings, right?
Yep.
And anticipating that it's dry, are you bent arm or are you
I usually go dead arm.
oh nice. So
Yeah.
and typically that's if you have stronger hand and finger strength and good shoulder
Yeah.
stability.
More, yeah. Now if it's wet, which it won't be, but I'll do bent arm. But yeah, more momentum, and it only takes like a few shimmies to get across. So, and
Yeah.
it's a much easier transition into the rings because that's how I go through the rings, dead arm. So
For sure. And it is easier to, if you're dead arm that like that, to hit the bell and continue to run. Where if you're kind of like
yep,
muscling through it, you hit and you kind of,
you're going off sideways. Yeah.
you're going off sideways. Yeah, that's true. You're going off sideways and kind of land flat, right? And you kind of have to start going again. This bucket carry could be long.
Yeah, you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks a little lengthy.
I would
I mean,
I would be prepared for that to be kind of like the game changer of this super course.
mhm.
Because up until that point, there's really not going to be much. I mean, the spear, if people miss it, whatever. But like at
Yeah.
this level with the elite series, I would imagine this is going to be the first place where people can separate. I was watching the Monterey race in 2017, which is not
Yeah.
the same, but like it was similar start where it was super flat, and then they got to a bucket carry and they made it nasty. So
Really?
yeah, let's see if we can see where this
Monterey
is.
this past year, bucket carry was nasty. It was straight uphill, like bad. People were like sitting on their buckets.
Oh, really?
But yeah, I was wondering if we could zoom in to see around 22, like if it goes uphill or not. So
I
like
was just trying to look at that. It looks like it's not. Like, it looks
yeah,
like it's right in this middle. Like this, there's like a little hump here. I wish they put numbers on the
yeah,
on
I
the
know.
freaking elevation map because I'm counting these little dots.
I know. Yeah, so it's right after mile 4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's flat. Okay. So we know that.
Yeah.
What
So
about
no,
sandbag carry? Do we have a sandbag? Oh, that's at the end.
it's pretty late. Yeah, you can see in there. Yeah, mile. Oh God.
So then
So yeah, it looks like after. Okay, where does it start going up again? That's like mile 5.
yeah, right before mile 5. Yeah.
Okay, so
So
right before mile 5. So beater and bender could be at the top of a hill or at.
yeah, probably so. And honestly, I love this combo. I mean, I love the rope climb twister. Like those are after bender. They're pretty close together. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that
Yeah, two
little
grippy things right back to back.
that'd be a good one.
And then they got plate and then plate drag, which would be good for strength athletes, and sandbags go back to back there. So sandbags right at the end.
That's fun. That's different.
That's essentially going to have to be like your last ditch finishing kick.
Yeah, so that's probably similar to Big Bear with the bucket carry right at the end, which changed things up. So that could be fun.
Yeah. So if you really are looking to just conserve as much as possible and just know that sandbag is coming, and that's where you want to really lay it all out, I think that's appropriate. I think that would be a decent strategy. But like, yeah, I mean, runners and people who can carry.
Yep. And that sandbag could potentially be on a little bit of an incline, maybe. We've got like a small hill.
Yeah, it looks like right at mile 6 is or right before mile 6. So after Twister, you're going to go up. Looks like that's like going to be the biggest hill that you're going to see all day.
And that's after Twister? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess that could be another place, right? Like if you want to put yourself in position, if you feel like you are a stronger climber and it looks like it's going to be a bit of a sharper descent, but pretty short. If you wanted to make some sort of move on that last hill after Twister to try to create some distance if you're a strong climber, that could be a spot. And then, just the finishing is the vertical cargo, slip wall, whatever. Game day CBD Herc hoist, which I guess could matter. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Maybe not. When it's dry, it's really not that hard.
If you go in it with someone like neck and neck, for sure. I like when they put that right at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. So, looking at the super, it's going to be pretty runner forward.
Mhm.
And if you can, so being uncomfortable in those first 3 miles is going to be important. Maintaining contact through bucket, or if you feel like that's a place where you can go, it's still, I mean, I don't know. What do you think about that place? The bucket's right at 4 miles.
I
So
think you've got to go after that.
yeah, that could
It's
be a make or break. Like if people do get in over their head on the first
mhm.
3 and are just kind of really getting into the bucket carry, that could be a place where you can, if you're feeling good, you can kind of separate, or where you're really going to have to suck it up.
It's tough though, because then the steep incline is there. So that's after. No, yeah, the steep incline is coming up after the bucket, yeah, or after
Yeah.
Twister. So, yeah, I mean, you definitely have to have some legs to get up that, but it can't be that bad. It's probably what, a 400-foot climb. Like, it can't be that bad.
So it seems like miles 4 to 5 are going to be the hardest, right? Or no,
Mhm.
wait. Yeah, 4 to the yeah, the 4 to 6 are going to be kind of a grind.
Yeah, but
So
I
that's
think people will separate by then. I definitely.
Yeah. All right. So what would it be like 1 or 2 takeaways that you'd have coming into this race for the super?
I think just that, knowing that you're starting and ending with hills, and then so that you can basically like find a groove for that flat part. So you can't go out too crazy, but at the same time, like don't lose contact with the people that you want to, because after that it's a flat race, so you have to get comfortable in the pace that you're comfortable in. Yeah, so just don't lose contact, and with the people that you don't want to, and then find a groove on that flat, because really we're looking at how many miles of flat. Like,
Most of them, yeah.
yeah, like miles
4.
1.5 to 5. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, a 5K. You're right. With a lot of obstacles though, it's pretty heavy in there. And then you've got some fun combos. Like I love the rope climb twister.
Mhm.
I love that Olympus box and spear throw are together. So those are 2 spots that are definitely the Olympus box and spear throw. That's going to be, you have to go, like go into that where you want to be, and then don't miss anything.
Above all else, hit all the obstacles. But yeah, like the first 3 miles, you're just gonna have to, because you could even think by Olympus and box, that might bring your heart rate down a little bit, bring your respiration rate down
Mhm.
a little bit going into spear. It would have been nasty if they would have put the spear where this Helix is, where it's like a 3-mile race to the spear, and
Yeah,
people will just be like all out of sorts.
right.
But they're going to give you a little bit of place to kind of catch your breath, but also to tax your upper body a little bit, right? So keeping in mind that could happen. So, uh,
Yeah. I think the other thing too is like just keeping your head straight. So like you've got Olympus, box, and spear throw. Like and those are all penalty loops. So say you slip off the Olympus and then you have to hit a penalty loop. Like don't be in your head, because 2 obstacles later you have the spear throw.
yeah,
So that's important too. Like you've got 3 penalty loops, 3 potential penalty loops in a row. So if something happens, like spear throws at the end of that, and like you've got to have your mind right for sure.
if you miss Olympus and spear throw, it's a tough day.
Yeah, I
Tough
think
day.
you're right. Shit. And they're close.
Yeah. So let's take a look at the beast distance now,
Mhm.
where this course actually looks fun.
It's
where the
pretty up down, up down, up
Yeah,
down.
where the super seems like it's going to run almost like a sprint. Not a ton of obstacles. You're really
Mhm.
going to have to put yourself in there. This is like a pretty classic looking beast, where it's out. It's going to zigzag through. It's going to be huge loops. You're only back at the start finish line once, so that the obstacles are going to be spread out into that beast and ultra loop
Yeah.
considerably. So things to prepare for on the beast are going to have armor on the beast, which is just the Atlas stone with a handle, like a single
Mhm.
arm farmer's carry. And then, is there not barbed wire crawl on? Oh, no. Yeah, there is. Okay, that's the 4th. Okay, 4th obstacle. So you're going to get a second barbed wire
They'll have
crawl,
2. Yep.
which is the worst.
Mhm.
And then what else do you get, really? And then that's kind of it. So that loop that takes you out there, tube crawl, hurdles, nothing really that's going to be that much of a deal breaker.
Yeah. More running at that point.
Which is going to make pacing a little bit more important.
Mhm.
Where does that big hill in the middle look like
It's
that
like
is?
mile 8. So, well, there's 2. There's one at mile 4, and then there's, well, actually, there's 3. Mile 4, like mile 7-ish, and mile 8, you're gonna hit some. I mean, looks like pretty steep
Yeah,
stuff.
that's cool. So I would do less of what we talked about for the super, where it's like put yourself in position, put yourself in the pain cave, and just deal. There's going
Yeah.
to be some jockeying back here, and in these positions where people are, there's not going to be much support back here. It's just going to be a lot of just head down and racing.
Mhm.
I would probably pick that same spot though to really start racing again, where right around where pipe layer and helix would be when you start to get back onto the super loop. I think it's gonna be a lot more just surviving those hills out in the back of this.
Yeah. I mean, what's the max grade we're looking at? 29.
Oh, that's pretty steep.
That's steep.
And what
That
are they
may
getting
not
total?
be
Can you see?
possible.
Can you see that total number?
Gain, I think
Yeah.
it's 2000. Yeah, 2000 ish.
So it's some. It's some.
I mean, spread out over 13, that's not terrible.
No.
So yeah, you're looking at some steep hills, I'd say.
Yeah. So I would just, I would be very cautious in the beginning. And with any type of beast, we're saying just to be cautious early on and trying to put yourself, just establish a pace that you can maintain.
Mhm.
And not getting in over your head in this back part, because the obstacles aren't really going to do much to you. Because there's a second sandbag on, but that's for the ultra loop. So there's
Yeah,
really nothing that's going to kill you back here besides you and your running.
right.
So if you're just you're mispacing things, you're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, because I would say it's heavy. After again, like that Olympus block. So you've got like Olympus, like, I mean, because that's mile 10 for them.
Yeah, the bucket carries
So
mile 11.
that's a lot going on in 3 miles. Um, as far as like obstacles go.
Yeah, so I would really conserve most things until about that mile 10.
Yeah.
Not making any crazy risks, just establishing your pace, put yourself in a good position. Yeah, because all the other things, like there's a couple of the penalty loops out there, but it's for like Tyro and 8-foot wall,
Mhm.
which Tyro is not necessarily one that gets failed. 8-foot wall
Yeah,
maybe, but probably not for the top high end competitors in age group. I wouldn't imagine 8-foot wall is going to be something that they're going to need to take penalty loops on.
yeah.
So yeah, I know in that back wooded part, I would just say get out there and enjoy it. It seems like it's gonna be nice, fun running.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting that they put a penalty loop at the 8-foot wall. Is that like not a multi attempt, or
You can, but if you just can't do it,
you just go? Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
yeah,
Interesting.
it's like how a tire flip was. Like if you can't flip it over, you can take
Oh,
burpees.
yeah. Fair. Yeah, I feel like the race, I mean, they've got a lot after mile 10. So, I mean, I'm tanked after 10 miles. So glad we're not doing the beast.
It seems like a fair course. I mean, it's hard to get for a beast distance to get the obstacles evenly distributed is how I would always like
Mhm.
to see a course kind of laid out, but just logistically it's hard. You always see everything kind of in one or two spots. And
Yeah.
here it just seems like everything, like the beast loop, there's just going to be some bumps in the way, and then everything else is running until you get back to the
Mhm.
super loop. So yeah, just be easy. Be easy on the first couple and put yourself in position and let it rip the last, like that bucket. I think the bucket carry and sandbag carry are still going to be big in terms of the final outcome. Bucket more than
Yeah.
sandbag. Sandbag by the mile 13 of a beast,
Mhm.
probably just getting through it.
Yeah, I think so. But there is some flats for the beast too. Like, right there's like 2 miles in the beginning. They can find like an easy pace, and then again after mile 9 to 11. So there's a good 4 flat miles in there.
I like this
But
for a beast.
yeah, I do too. I mean, I don't want to do it, but
Just simply because of the distance. But if it was to do it, it looks better than Tahoe. You know?
yeah, I agree.
Cool. So I think that kind of wraps it up. I think I like the way this course looks. It's definitely a runner's course for the super. I think it is
Mhm.
going to be getting yourself uncomfortable, dealing with it, hammering the bucket as much as you can, and then just establishing yourself and seeing what you do. On the beast end, just don't kill yourself in the first couple on the flats, because it's like that start is probably going to be more of a trap than
Mhm.
a benefit, where it's a necessity on the super. On the beast, it's a trap. So just know that
Yeah.
that people are going to go out crazy, because on that super on Sunday, people are going to go out nuts.
Yeah.
Nuts. Cool, Alicia. Anything else you want to add to this?
I don't think so. Just have fun with it. First race of the year, or first, series race. Well, for the elites. So I think everyone's excited. I think, it's a good time. Let's have a good time.
It's a good time to have a good time. So if you guys like this type of content, hit us with a like, hit us with a subscribe so you can get more of this coming through your feed. But until then, we'll see you out on the course.